the reason I think we see lower prices is because like we're probably at least a year out from the next bull market. So it's like, all right, maybe we go sideways, but in that sideways, there's plenty of up and down. So what's the low side of that down? Is it,
Right.
here or is it even lower? I don't know. Um, I've been saying it for a long, long time. If we break that 19 area, my target was, like 13.8, 13.6, down even to like 13.5. So maybe that's where we go. Maybe not.
Hmm.
If we do, that basically equals pretty much the size of the pullback of every other top to bottom in terms of prior bull bust runs. In terms of a percentage basis, it's like roughly the same. So it's kind of one of the reasons that I'm targeting that area. But honestly, I almost hope we spike below 10K and have the absolute major capitulation. Because if we crack 10K, the capitulation is just going to go off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that we don't see that. Not
We're
gonna
not.
lie.
There's no way we're not. You want to know why? Because there's too many people that are buying the hell out of it, you know, at 10, 11, 12, 13. There's people like me that are just drooling to buy it in the 13s, right? There's people
Yeah,
that are drooling to buy it at 11. And
yeah,
there's people that are 10K. So I think it doesn't, I forget, they were showing like, what is it, like the break even prices and all that shit. I just think there's too many buyers once you get down to 10.
yeah.
But
I would agree with that.
anything can happen though.
I we were just talking before we went on air about collateralized Bitcoin loans because right now, I think we both agree that right now seems to be a good time to collateralize Bitcoin and take a loan against it because Bitcoin's so low, so you can essentially do that and set a liquidation price that's relatively low and not be too worried about it because how much lower is Bitcoin going to go?
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at setting up some new collateralized loan vaults on MakerDAO. I'm considering different liquidation prices like, below 10K, I think would be super safe. But I mean, I even think that like 11K, anything under like 12K would be still relatively safe. I mean, if obviously we saw some major player blow up, then we could definitely see 12K. But yeah, I don't know. So if you were, I guess that's a good question to get an idea of someone's opinion of the crypto market is if you were to open a collateralized loan right now, what would you set your Bitcoin liquidation price at in a way that you would want it to be safe from having to manage it?
It's funny too how that answer varies for everybody because, obviously I'm more conservative, but if there's I never want to have to apply any additional capital to it in terms of like a margin call or something like that, then I'm probably going like super, super safe and having a liquidation price at like 7,500 on Bitcoin, you know. If I'm willing to add some Bitcoin, then I probably would have it at 10.
10.
Yeah, if I know like, if I'm willing to add some Bitcoin as collateral if it was to break 10, which isn't that far away if you really think about it. I
Yeah, I
mean, it's
mean,
one hard sell off. I mean, it's basically the sell, what did we were at essentially floating around 20. We got down to, high 15. So that's a foreign change move, which is small. Well, it's not small, but it's definitely not bigger than the prior sell offs just this year. Those were all moves, I think, of like 4 or 5K. That's what I do, honestly. It's pretty basic, but I look at measured moves a lot. So when we were selling off last week, I was looking at the last two sell offs and like, all right, you know, how does this compare? And and I'm just looking and I'm looking at dollar value, right? Now think about that. That's a bigger percentage now at lower prices. But back when we were bouncing around 30, it's like that sell off that took us down. We were at 31 and change and went down to 20. So, it's 11K move. And that happened this year.
yeah,
Like we sold off from essentially 31 and change down to really 19 and change. So you're talking 10 plus $1,000 move. So, I mean, even if you adjust that on a percentage basis, it's like, all right, so now we're at what? Started out at 2/3 of that same price. So now you're talking a 7,000 point move. We didn't even do that. We basically went like 5K. So it's something I pay attention to. And even like back in, what was that, May, when we sold down to that 30, like when we were up at 40, we sold down essentially to like 30, another 10,000 point move, right? So that's why like we could easily, like, this move doesn't have to be done. I mean, we're just literally consolidating for a few days after being super oversold. So if we sold down even to 10K, it would not be out of the norm. So percentage wise, it would be higher, but in terms of actual dollar value, the same. So you figure percentage wise, it'd be the same. It's going to be less of a move. So where does that take us? Probably, mid 13s. So these are just some of the little things I pay attention to in terms of my price points. So like I said, I have a nice hefty order sitting at 13.6. And if it does get down there, I'll be buying more. I just have an order out there just in case I miss like a flash crash or a spike or something, since I won't be in front of my machine much the rest of the week. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm looking at the chart right now, the 10-day moving average, which I like to pay attention to for short-term kind of direction. That's just finally starting to catch back up. So we'll see.
I've been buying pretty heavily at these prices. Anything under 18,000 I've been nibbling at. So I don't know. I'd like to think that we're not. I'd like to think that the bottom is in. I think most of us would like to think that, but
I'd love if the bottom was in.
Yeah. If you really think about it, though, I mean, you're right that like before this whole FTX thing, I mean, the low end of the range that we were sitting at was like high 18,000. It was basically 19,000. And right now we're at 17,000. It's honestly not that crazy of a move relative to what just happened, which is the number 2 exchange in the world just disappeared, and it literally vaporized billions of dollars along with it. I don't know. That could be 2 different things. That could be that we're not sold off enough yet, or it could mean that we were already so sold off that even something this impactful doesn't drop the price that much just because we're so low and people are buying.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are worried, and this would probably make a great clip, but I know a lot of people are worried about Michael Saylor. And if he is going to be one of the people to go down from being, over leveraged. I think he tweeted at some point that his liquidation price on Bitcoin was something like $3,000 or something around there. I never confirmed that. I just saw someone else tweet it. I would be interested to know like what his actual liquidation price is. And, if we got down to say 10,000, like, is he at risk? Is he gonna, it's more so that if he did get liquidated, it would be a very high profile liquidation, and it would be a lot of Bitcoin. Because he's got somewhere in the range of 130,000 Bitcoin.
If he got liquidated, that would, honestly, I think it would do more damage aesthetically and socially than it would technically. Because, like, Michael Saylor is one person that transcends both sides. Like, we're familiar with him and his, Bitcoin holdings in the crypto space, but also the general public. A lot of people, anyone that's remotely, pays attention to the stock market or whatever, knows who Michael Saylor is. And, that they basically just look at him as like the Bitcoin guy.
Yeah.
So if the Bitcoin guy was to get owned, that would not be a good look for crypto.